A female taxi driver gets out of the taxi and angrily goes and says, "What are you doing here on the beach road?" The crying old woman says, "My money has fallen. Let me pick it up." When the female driver receives a call, then a woman standing on the roof says, "Take the old woman and drop her at a shelter home." So the female driver says, "Okay, as you say," and then hangs up the phone. Then the female driver goes to the old woman and says, "Come with me. I will take you to a shelter home." Then seeing the old woman crying, she asks, "Are you fine?" But when the old woman gives no answer and remains silent, then the female driver takes the old woman with her and goes and opens the taxi door, then makes the old woman sit inside, and then goes and picks up the bags and places them in the car, and then sits in the car herself and fastens the seatbelt while traveling. The old woman stays sad and keeps crying continuously. Then the female driver asks the old woman the reason for crying. So the old woman cries and tells her that my daughter-in-law snatched the property papers from me and threw me out of the house, and now being helpless, where will I go? The female driver stops the car, gives courage to the old woman, and asks her, "If you have the number of any relative, then give it to me." Then the old woman takes out a paper and gives it to her. The female driver dials the number written on the paper on her mobile, and then calls and tells them about the old woman that she has been thrown out of the house, and then gives the mobile to the old woman to talk. When the old woman starts talking, the call ends from the other side, and then she cries and returns the phone. Then after some time, the female driver goes and knocks on the door. When the door opens, the female driver says, "Receive the parcel for the LCD you ordered." The woman says in surprise, "But we did not order any parcel." The female driver says, "I do not know. Should I keep it inside?" The woman reluctantly gives permission, and then the female driver with difficulty places the parcel inside, and then acting says it is very hot and asks the woman to bring water. When the woman goes to get water, the female driver gets the chance and goes and searches the cupboard and then picks up the file of property papers and hides it in her pants. When the woman comes back with a glass of water, the female driver drinks. The water returns, the glass says thank you, and leaves, and the woman closes the door. Seeing the mother with the lawyer, the son asks, "Is everything fine?" The mother says, "I want to vacate this house." The daughter-in-law comes and then, flattering, says, "Where did you go?" The old woman says, "You were the one who threw me out of the house." The daughter-in-law angrily says, "What accusation are you putting on me?" Then the lawyer says, "You will have to vacate this house." Then he puts the bag down and starts showing the papers. The daughter-in-law takes the file, and then while tearing the file says, "Without proof, you people cannot do anything." The lawyer smiles and says these were duplicate papers, while the original papers have already been submitted in court. Then the female driver gets out of the car and then goes to them and says to the lawyer, "Give these two such punishment that this old mother gets justice." I felt very sad at their thinking, who consider their parents a burden on themselves. Then the son sits at his mother's feet and starts asking for forgiveness. Then the mother says, "I will forgive you, but on one condition, that your wife will not live in this house." The wife angrily says, "I also have no desire to be insulted. I cannot live in this house with your mother at all." And then she angrily starts leaving when her foot slips and she falls on the ground and looks at them angrily, but then gets up and leaves from there. Then the lawyer says all this was possible because of this woman. The son thanks her. Do you also consider your parents a burden in old age and throw them out of the house? Or do you serve them? Do tell us in the comments. Please like and share our video and make sure to subscribe to the channel.